So welcome everybody. If you want to, you can pop in the chat where you are hopping in from. If there's any specific questions as we go through, just pop them in the chat and we will make sure that we get to them. We are going to be really efficient with our time because I know it is a beautiful evening out, and we promise to be about half an hour. And so I'm Megan Marr, and this is Emily. And we're going to share a little bit about our stories and then dig into some of the real details about network marketing and Young Living specifically. So Emily, do you want to start with sharing? Okay.
Sure, I will. Yeah. Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm so glad that you're here. I'm just going to share my Young Living story and then pass it back to Megan. So before Young Living, I had my health aha moment as I've learned to discover that everybody has an awakening, and if you're lucky, you're younger when you have it because then you have time for the change. And so my aha moment was after losing both of my parents to health diagnosis that the doctors had no cause and no cure for. But the doctor with my dad paid a lot of attention to the environment that he grew up in and was asking us lots of questions about that. And that really struck me hard, like deep, because when my dad died, my oldest child, I have 5 now, she was only 9 months old. So the entire time I was losing those most precious to me, I was creating new people. And so it just became such a mission to only use healthy organic things in my house to the level that we could afford. Started with cleaners because I read a book about pregnancy and chemicals. So I got one of those steaming sharks, and that's all I did. Everything in our house was wet for a long time. It was all steamed. Everything was steamed. And then I realized it's not ideal to always be slipping on your floors. So I started to look for cleaners, and it was easier at the time. This is like almost 12 years ago. There wasn't so much green labels on things and no real name brands that are supposed to be healthy. So I just kind of went with things. And then as I learned more, I learned about the environmental working group. I started to read labels. Like, actually, instead of buying the label, I started to read the label, which was a huge shift for me. And it was overwhelming to realize the things I thought I'd been using were healthy had things like fragrance and perfume and things in them that are horrible for your health and your children. And my children were crawling all over the floor, as I'm sure everybody with kids knows. So I just went blank. So when I went to a class, I was kind of skeptical, but I saw my best friend, she was the one hosting, and she shared 5 kits that night. And I'd been looking for a side income for a while, and I knew that I didn't want to be left behind. So I was skeptical, but I got the kit because I could see I was going to lose nothing. She bought a kit and she already covered the kit and had extra to spend on her next month order, all in her first class. So that is what got me started. And I hosted a class, my own class. I did all my research so that when my kid arrived, I was no longer skeptical. I was excited. I started to use my products, and I was so excited. I was telling people at gymnastics, other moms, I was like, you have to learn about this, and I'm hosting a class, so please come and hear more because I'm learning, you can learn with me, kind of thing. And so I had a couple classes, and more people came and they wanted to get started. And it just felt like this exciting community to be a part of something. I no longer felt alone because I wasn't I didn't have to read labels anymore. And I wasn't the only one concerned about my health. I had this community that surrounded me and supported me with that journey. And I was just blown away. And I'll talk a little bit more about going to a farm later on and how that impacted me. But you'll hear more about rank and all that kind of thing. But it took me a couple of years to actually make a replaceable income here. And that time was going to pass anyway. And the whole time I was doing Young Living, I was also a fitness trainer at a gym. And suddenly that job that I absolutely loved was taken from me overnight when they went bankrupt. And it was a big chain on Vancouver Island, and 8 gyms shut overnight. And we were all like, there was an actual support group made because we were all in such emotional devastation that what we loved could just be snatched out of our hands overnight. I lost all my clients. I lost my colleagues, everything. It was horrible. And a sense of purpose was just taken from me. And I was also building Young Living at the same time. So to really own that and realize nobody can take this from me, all the time I invest, all the team that comes alongside me, we're like together forever. Nobody's just gonna turn off the light on that. So that has just empowered me forward as I've watched my team grow. And so there you go, Megan.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, my story is a little bit similar to Emily in that when I became pregnant with my first son, I became really aware of what I was putting in my body, what I was putting on my body, and really started to read ingredients and that sort of thing as well. And I intentionally bought like the more expensive body wash and the shampoo that has the green leaf on it, thinking that I was making good decisions. And then I came to a class, a similar class like that we have on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and learn a little bit more about Young Living and what they have to offer and their ingredients that they use and their Seed to Seal promise. And I left feeling so empowered. And so in between that, my mom had gotten diagnosed with cancer as well. And so that just like made it even more, I was just so much more aware, and I felt so terrified of all of the products and everything out there. And so to find Young Living and to trust their ingredients was like such a gift. And I started off being like in that first class, she had said, write down a list of people as you think of them, as we go through all of these products, and you think of people that you're like, oh man, they really need this, or this would be really awesome for them, or man, they haven't slept in forever, like they could really use this. So she had encouraged us to write down people's names as they popped into our head throughout the class. And at the end of that, she was sharing how when you share, you can get your products covered, you can get a little bit of wiggle room in your budget, or you can make life-changing income. And so that kind of sparked, I was like, oh, like if I could get free oils and free cleaner and free products, like that would be awesome. And so I became intrigued right away. And I hosted a class just kind of like Emily did. And now, of course, our classes are on Zoom, but it's still a fun way to connect and get together. And I quickly was able to cover the cost of my kit and to cover my monthly orders. And so I was starting to order monthly and experiment and try all of the different products they have, because there are so many. And Emily's going to share about that in a little bit. And so I had this moment where I was like, man, okay, so like my products are covered, like toot sweet. What if I could get my childcare covered? Like that would be really awesome. My son was going to daycare 2 days a week, so I could work as a counselor with the health authority. And so the next month after that, I was able to earn enough to cover his childcare costs. And so then I had this like big scary goal of like, if I could earn like $2,000 a month and replace my part-time income, then I could be home full time, which didn't feel like it would happen for me. Like I had heard other people like, okay, like those people over there that nobody knows, it's happened for them and they've been successful. And so I was intrigued by it, but I was a little bit skeptical too. And then when my mom passed away in January 2017, I had this kind of awakening of, she died when she was 57 and never got to retire. And so I had this moment of like, man, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait to live my life. I don't want to wait till my kids get older. I don't want to wait for retirement. I want to like live big now. And so I knew that Young Living was this vehicle to get me from where I was to where I wanted to be the quickest. And I wanted to be able to say yes to everything that I wanted. And I wanted the power and the freedom to say no to the things that I didn't. So if you follow me at all, you know that when someone is like, hey, do you want to go to Mount Washington and try out skiing and snowboarding for the season with your kids? I said yes. If they're like, hey, do you want to go kayaking and grab some new kayaks and make that part of your lifestyle? I say yes. And so I have that freedom now to be able to say yes to the things that like really bring me joy, and that we can really live and have this experience now instead of waiting. And it has been such an incredible gift for our family. We continue to grow through that. And I remember having this conversation with my husband. It was June, we were in our basement, and I remember saying to him, what if, what if I could replace your income? What if you could quit your job and you could do anything that you wanted? What if you could dream again? Because he is insanely smart and brilliant, and he has always been crazy successful in his work, but his work has never been his passion. So he would work and then he would do other things to fulfill his passion and to fill up his soul, but his work never was. And I was like, what if I could kind of support us while you quit your job and you find out what that passion is and figure out a way to earn a living at it? And so we were able to do that, which is just such an incredible gift. And now he is owning his own business and living out his passion. And we never would have been able to do that without Young Living. And so whether you're looking for just getting your products covered, which is like totally doable and awesome, a little bit of wiggle room in your budget, like getting some bills covered or childcare covered or whatever that looks like for you, or you're looking for real big life-changing income, there is way more possibility than I ever imagined within network marketing and with Young Living. So I'm so excited that you're here tonight. And I'm going to pass it back over to Emily to share a little bit more about the details. You're muted. You're muted.
There we go. Thank you, friend. I was in it. So I didn't know anything about Young Living before I started. And so I was actually really surprised. Like, I had seen the words floating around Facebook kind of in the background. So I just assumed it's some big company somewhere. I never realized that it was a small family business that just kind of boomed in the last 10 years. But it's been a established small family business for almost 30 years and celebrating 27 years of incorporated like technicalities, but they've been along for decades. And it started with Gary and Mary at their farm table. And I didn't really I felt like that was some sweet fairy tale intro to Young Living when I first joined. But when I was invited to go to a farm and see like behind the curtain, I was floored. Like, everybody in Young Living is somehow family related. And the guy in charge of that whole farm was one of Gary's nephews. And they just felt like a family. It was a small crew at this huge farm. And we were in there with them in the trenches for a week. And it was incredible to see all of the people that did this as a passion, and just to talk to the loggers taking down the trees. And like, I just went away feeling like not only was it a family business, but now I was part of that family, and it just fueled me up. And now I 100% feel like the authenticity of the company is real, and they are just like booming around the world. So let's talk about the growth that they've had. For some reason, my screen is locked. Oh dear. Sorry. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness.
You're back.
I'm back. That was weird. My screen just blacked out. Can you guys see now still?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So this is where they started, like early 1994, 90s. That's when Gary kind of started. And then look at the boom now. Like, if you ever thought that you didn't get a beginning in Young Living early enough, you can check this trend out. I don't think there's ever been a better time to make health and wellness your business, because the world has woken up to the things that we're cleaning with, and the things in our air and our environment, and what we put on our bodies, and the impact that it has emotionally on our families as well. So this is the right time. And I'm just going to click through my slides because it won't let me share. So we are all over the globe, 25 countries and growing, 5 new markets every single year. This is our headquarters down near Salt Lake, and I absolutely love the little details. Like, they pay attention to details. This is a massive place, but their entire science lab has been seismically upgraded so that their floors are a different structure. So nothing affects even the readouts that they do on their plants. They are so like perfectionists about the quality and their testing and their research. And so they don't even want vibrations from the earth to affect any of their results. It's a beautiful facility. Now, unfortunately, Gary has passed away, but his wife, Mary, is leading the helm of this movement of essential oils, and their sons are taking Gary's place as well. So it's still truly a family business. And here are some more details. 3,500 global employees, 24 corporate and partner farms, 16 offices globally, 220 essential oils, but this is a huge number, 600 individual products. So when I got to switch my steam cleaner, and then I got to get rid of all those chemical products that I realized I'd been using but were bad for me, I found with ease that I could switch and ditch everything that I had been buying at the drugstore with Young Living products, because we have everything from health supplements to the things you'd use in your bath care to makeup. Like, everything has been tested. It's totally safe, and I don't have to think about it. I could just click and deliver. Now, one of the things that I love about this company is sharing the business. It is so easy. It is literally, you just have to use the products and love them. That's number one. And when you do, you'll be able to tell your story. You'll want to tell your story. People will probably even ask you, like, why are you sleeping better? And what happened to that cough that you used to always have? You just tell them your story. There's no like, you won't get a sales kit or any kind of instruction. Literally love these. When you do, share your stories with others. Invite people just to take a look. That's all it is. It's not pushy. It's not salesy. We are very honoring and authentic, and you just listen to people. And when they're ready, they'll let you know. And you just keep loving them and loving the products. And so as as Megan said, you totally have control. There's no like set quota that you have to sell or achieve or anything like that. The vision is yours. So do you just want to get some free cleaner and get your supplements and free oils, or do you want to pay off your car payment or credit card, or save bigger, build that dream house? Like, it's totally up to you. And in fact, like, Megan is one of my leaders, and I can out earn her if my dream is bigger. And that is pretty rare. I don't have to apply for the job of like surpassing her on the income scale. I can just do it, which is awesome. So this is basically how I got started. I had my first class. I shared with those few people, and 4 jumped on board. Now, when those 4 people, this is how we get growth on your team. When those 4 people host a class and invite their dearest friends, family, colleagues, people that have noticed the change in them, when they get started, Young Living has sent me a thank you check for the first 4 that I enrolled. But because I was the window to those 4 people, and then all of their customers are really because I had my first class, Young Living is going to keep acknowledging my pathway to all these new customers. And I love so much that they haven't like marked up their products so they can pay everybody. This is like, you buy your products at product, like we even get a discount, 24% off. They're actually using their sizable marketing budget, which every company has. And instead of paying money into billboards, commercials, and all the magazine ads and all of that, they actually just pay the people that have made the sale. So it's like a direct contact marketing expenditure, which I love, because they're not throwing money out hoping it lands somewhere. They're actually saying, hey, Emily, thank you so much for educating people about Young Living. We'd like to thank you now with our marketing budget. So I get paid kind of after the fact, but I love that, because that keeps the price of the products down, because they're effective marketing. They're not throwing money away. They're directly paying the people that share. And how about when those people have a class, because you know they're going to fall in love as well. And this is the exponential growth that I have seen on my team, and I know Megan has seen on hers. And you just get like a little team member. Megan woke up and she had a whole team growing in Mexico, and that kind of stuff happens just because like you can't control where your friends family live, but they all want to know and you love each other, and so it just kind of grows. And so I'm glad that Young Living keeps opening up new markets, because that way all of my legacy of customers can share with their family with ease, because there'll be warehouses on the ground in their country, and there'll be marketing material in their language. Like, it's so easy to share abroad. And this is kind of our pay structure here. This is an average monthly potential for you in American dollars. So just take a look at these numbers here. Which one fits your vision? Is it a health budget? Is it a dream home? Is it a vacation once a year? These are all possible, and you don't have to, like, your leader doesn't have to make this for you to make this. Like, about 1% of people really go for it and go for these numbers. And if you're one of those 1%, then you can out earn the people above you. I am a silver leader. Sorry, I didn't say that. I'm a silver leader here, and Megan as a platinum leader. And this is really simple. This keeps it really easy when you're beginning to share. When somebody you know gets started with Young Living, they'll probably start the way we all did, and that's with the starter bundle, because they're such a good deal. But Young Living will actually send you a $50 US thank you check. So it works out to be $67.50 Canadian. So if you share, when you share with 3 or 4 people, that more than covers how you got started, which is why what I said when my best friend sold 5 kits, I was like, oh my goodness, like, your kit only cost you $200 and 5 have just left to happy homes. So you've paid off, and now you have money to spend on your next month. Like, I couldn't believe it. I could not be left behind. So it can be complicated. I don't know why. I think that there's nothing in here. My coffee, my brain is frazzled. So let me break it down for you. What if you try the products? Or how about when you try these products and you find them to be as extraordinary as I have, would you recommend them? I think you'd be a jerk not to. What if others fell in love with them? What if Young Living just kept sending you referral money every single month? And then what if it kept growing? Like, can you just wrap your head around that for a minute? Because when you're passionate and excited, you're going to kind of motivate the people that you share with to be passionate and excited. And then that passion is like a fire, and you just blow the wind on it and help everybody change their lives, because this really does take the ease. It makes healthy easy. Think about the people in your life that have influence, that would trust you if you shared it with them, and who is going to trust them when they share it. Probably you don't need to get stuck on, well, I don't know very many people, because I have heard of diamonds at the top of the chart living in small towns with like a couple hundred people, because it's not who they knew, it was who their team knew that made them grow. So this is really a simple business, but I want to finish off with a few more stories of powerful women who have made the decision to share this. I'm actually going to stop sharing and reshare, because I think something's gone wrong with my sharing. And then I'm going to share. I'm going to, here I go. Okay, I'm going to reshare now. Here we go.
I used to be a high school English teacher,
a social worker,
a horticulturist,
a marketing manager at an international company,
a secretary,
general contractor, and real estate agent.
I was a paralegal for an attorney in downtown Chicago.
Before Young Living, I actually didn't have anything professionally.
An interior designer.
I'm a former accountant, turned stay-at-home mom, turned professional network marketer with Young Living.
We had been getting cuts for 4 years. Truly, at the end of the month, we had no more money left. And I just couldn't see myself doing this for 20, 25 more years of my life.
I knew that we wanted more for our family than to just be constantly working and never getting ahead.
There was very limited potential on where I could go and absolutely limited on how much income I could actually attain.
After I started using Young Living essential oils and products, I really saw some results.
I was able to slowly replace every single toxic product in every cabinet in my home.
You can begin to build this business in 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. When I understood that it was as simple as skills that anyone can learn, I realized I can learn a skill.
When we got our first commission check, we said, wow, what's that? We earning money?
I was able to spend most of my time with my daughter, being able to see her walk for the first time, say mommy for the first time.
I initially started just paying that organic grocery bill, making a car payment, and then eventually it grew bigger and we were paying our mortgage with it.
I make in 1 month almost what I would make in 1 year as a social worker.
This industry is about becoming the best you can be.
The coolest thing about growth is the opportunity to bring people with you.
My daughters have seen how much I've grown, and it's actually made them do things they ordinarily wouldn't have done as well.
My husband was able to come home from teaching because our income with Young Living surpassed both of our incomes as teachers. You know, we paid off our house this year.
We are free now. To be free means for me, I can go on vacation when I want, to travel the world, to live in a house that I love.
On a spontaneous level, being able to randomly go and just bless the heck out of people is such a fun thing.
And it's amazing being part of not only seeing your dreams come true, but seeing the dreams of the people around you come true.
So because I said yes, I met my best friend in the whole entire world.
I have a gorgeous new friend who is a single mum who has been able to give up her 2 other jobs to be able to work from home with her daughter.
What I've watched my mom become is her greatest self. We are Young Living, changing the world one drop at a time.
This isn't the end of the story. This is just the beginning.
There you go. Awesome stories. Thank you so much for spending that half hour with us this evening. And I'll just pass it back to Megan to say goodbye.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I love that video. Like, it just makes me be like, yes. Like, I don't know if you could see me like the whole time. I'm just like, yes, so good. It's such a great example that anybody can do it. From many walks of life, and depending on what your goal is, you're able to achieve it. And so I hope that this was helpful. Connect back in with a person who invited you here, or feel free to reach out to Emily or I. We are always happy to chat more about the business. We absolutely love it, obviously. And when I come back to it, I'm just like, man, I can't imagine what my life would be like without this business. These products are incredible, and they're amazing, and they are life-giving. And they have changed my life in a huge way. But this business changed my whole world. It enabled us to have the sort of freedom that I didn't know existed. And so I'm so grateful that you took this half hour to spend it with us on a beautiful Sunday night. I hope that you were able to enjoy the sunshine today as well. And like I said, feel free to reach out if you have questions. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye, you guys.